What's going on, everybody? Chase with IW Hockey, joined today with Rob from Warrior Hockey with the exciting new Alpha LX3 Pro line in front of us. But before we talk about the exciting tech and spec, how would you describe the Alpha player and maybe their shooting style that best suits them?
Yeah, so Alpha for us is like that guy that is good at everything. This is the #1 flex profile we have for our most elite athletes. When you look across the NHL, the majority of the guys are using this flex profile, and it's that guy that's taking face-offs or going into the dirty areas, up in the boards or in front of the net, and a little bit of that combination of everything. Maybe you need to be able to get it off quick, you're playing in tight, or that big slap shot on a power play, the one-timer, that sort of thing. It is a stick that is really geared to excel in every facet of the game. And so it covers a lot of ground, like I said, from a quick release shot of playing in tight to that big slap shot from the blue line.
And that's exciting to see through all 4 price points here. But of course, you know me, I'm a gearhead. We gotta talk about this LX3 Pro. Visually big changes underneath the hood, especially when you take out the end cap. There's a little bit of change there too. So let's start right off of the bat. What's going on with the new construction?
Yeah, so for us, we added alloy carbon to this. And so for that, it's a layer of metal that runs through the entire stick. And it's really gonna help with the impact strength of the stick. So taking those hacks and whacks, it also really helps to stabilize that flex profile, especially on those really heavy loaded shots. It's a really thin layer of metal, so it's not, you're not picturing Gretzky's aluminum stick and this, big heavy thing. It's a really thin layer, but it really helps to stabilize the stick and really improve, especially impact strength.
So my first thought when I hear of metal in a stick that, Gretzky stick, probably a little bit heavier. When we compare the LX3 Pro to the LX2 Pro, is there a change in weight? Is this heavier than what we saw last year?
No, so we've actually, even with adding a layer of metal, we were able to reduce the weight on the stick, which is pretty incredible for us. A big piece of that is how we build our hockey sticks and the process improvements that we go through that, we've added steps all the way through the line to really reduce defects, to gain a lot of consistency in the build in our sticks. And by doing that, it's allowed us to actually pull some material out of the stick, even though we've added metal to it, and bring the weight down. So a pretty crazy thing to add metal to a hockey stick, but somehow make it lighter.
And strong, lighter and stronger.
Yeah.
They don't usually go together.
No, they really don't.
And that construction you're talking about too, before we move on, really stems from the covert line. And I always thought it was fascinating, use a cold step in the process. Yeah. You think of carbon fiber and heat.
Yeah, so it's for us, we had this cold molding step for our sticks. And so it's right before they go into the molds hot, they go into the molds cold and sit there for a period. It allows the materials to cure up, bond together a lot better. And that's going a long way to that consistency in the build and adding strength and durability and balance to the stick.
Now, as you mentioned before too, Alpha has been so popular retail and at the pro level. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who came from the LX2 Pro going into this one. And, obviously it's going to feel lighter, it's going to be stronger, but more importantly, has the puck feel changed at all either?
Yeah, I think the blade feel is very similar. Like you're going to have that Warrior damp kind of blade feel, but there is a lot of snap and a lot of pop when you're shooting the puck. We've shot around a little bit before, filming and talking, and the puck really explodes off the stick with the LX3 Pro. It's something we're really, really excited about.
Yeah, it feels snappier. If I had to compare it to the LX2 Pro, which was, not to say that was a slouch by any means, but it just feels like it's got a little extra meanness on that
there's
release.
A lot of pop there for sure.
And of course, it feels mean, it releases mean, it looks really mean too. So before we move on to the LX3, what was kind of the inspiration between this new graphics package we find?
Yeah, so a little bit like I talked about the performance and the play style of the stick. It's a mean stick. It's really built to excel. The way I talk about it is Alpha's not just a name, it's almost a tech feature. It is supposed to be king of the hill. And so we wanted to bring in kind of a meaner, tougher look and graphic. And so pretty toned down overall, a lot of black, a lot of tonal look, but then bringing in that OD green colorway through the middle. Some nice flash and pop, but again, and not in that overly flashy chrome kind of way.
Yeah. It looks very tactical if I had to describe
100%.
it. So the colors look great, but is this going to be available in our custom builder as well?
It is. So it will be available custom. It'll come in, more colors, blues, reds, golds, all that sort of thing. So really being able to dial in exactly the right stick for your personality.
Well, let's hop on to the LX3. Personality of this player, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, elite level player, but looking for a little more value without going to that LX3 price tag. Is that about accurate?
100%. So really for us, this LX3 stick is a really high-end, high-performance build. It's really lightweight, it's really durable, but yeah, bringing that price point down to something a little more achievable for more people and everything like that. So you get an unbelievably lightweight stick at 60 inches. It's sub 400 grams, which is a lot of value there. You get the 6K weave all the way throughout. It is truly, it's a high performance stick. 2 years ago, this is the top price point in the marketplace from a lot of people. So yeah.
So then comparing this back to the LX3 Pro that had the Minimus Carbon 25, we see a little bit more of that Pro style weave in the LX3. So what is that and how does that benefit that player?
Yeah, so it's a 6K weave all the way throughout, and it's a great call by you. I think if you're someone that's seen a lot of pro stock sticks and things like that, it's a pretty common weave that you see through a lot of the pro athletes, that 6K weave. It's really strong, it's still really lightweight, but it is a little bit heavier than that 25K weave. And so that's really the biggest change from the top price point to this price point. You know, we take that layer of metal out of it, the weight goes up a little bit on the stick, but it's really strong, it's really well balanced, and the performance is unbelievable.
We can take what you just said and apply that back to the LX3T that we're gonna move on to now. Off camera, I talked about how excited I was for the stick just because all the features, the weight, and the performance. So let's talk about level of play first, and who did you build this stick for?
Yeah, so this is a stick that's really geared to kind of take a beating. So, you know, T in a lot of ways stands for kind of team stick and that sort of thing. So it's a high school kid, a university level kid, junior level player that's really putting the stick through the paces. It needs a stick that's gonna last and put up with that. And so again, a little bit heavier than the LX3 Pro, really lightweight, really well balanced, and really built to take a beating. And so it's another stick that this is an elite player still using this stick, even though it's kind of into that intermediate type of price category.
Yeah, elite performance, but at a medium level price point.
100%.
It's like 440 grams at a 63 inch, right?
Yep. So really lightweight, and the balance is unbelievable on that too.
Yeah, especially once you cut it down. And then last but not least, this is clocking in right around 440 grams, I believe too. This is, you guys classify this as recreational, but I mean, you have exposed carbon fiber. This is almost like cheating. So for maybe that new to competitive hockey, this is gonna be a great choice. What are a couple key specs that are gonna help support that?
I think for me, when we look at like this stick here, we're talking about a men's league player, or maybe someone that's not skating 3, 4, 5 times a week. You're maybe skating 1 time a week or once every couple weeks. But to your point, exposed carbon fiber, there's a lot of performance here. And for us, a big thing on these getting towards those opening price points or step up from opening price points is having things like the same ergo shaft shape that we have throughout our entire line, the exact same flex profile and taper design that we have through our entire line, the same blade construction that we have on our LX3 and our LX3T stick. So a lot of value. This is still a stick that performs at a really high level, built to take a beating. But again, just for that player that's maybe not skating, 4 or 5 times a week, and you're doing it once a week type of deal.
Yeah, you still want to have that high-end feel without that high-end price tag.
100%.
So to wrap us up here, are there a couple pro players you can name that really exemplify what it means to be an alpha player for those visual learners out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a handful of them playing in the Stanley Cup Finals this year. Brad Marchand is one of our big guys. Leon Draisaitl is an alpha LX3 guy. Sam Bennett is an alpha guy. He's using the LX2 right now, but he's an alpha guy. And it's these guys that really cover the ice and really do it all. And I mean, I just named the top 3 scorers in the playoffs for the 2025 season, and they're all alpha guys.
Yeah, they're the alpha, the stat leaders.
Yeah, there you go.
Postseason. Well, Rob, thanks so much for joining us today and walking us through the LX3 Pro line.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And for you at home that want to check out the entire line, make sure you head over to icewarehouse.com.